Yo, what's up? I'm Eldritch Terror, and welcome back to my channel where I like to talk about all things spooky, scary, and have a little bit of fun. Today on the channel, we're going to be talking about a whole bunch of news concerning Universal, Halloween Horror Nights, Horror Unleashed, and the Epic Dark Universe. That's right, we're going over everything from speculation on Halloween Horror Nights 34, and then going over to the new park over in Florida, Epic Universe, to check out the Dark Universe, and then traveling all the way over to Nevada to see what's going on with their new Halloween Horror Nights experience that they're setting up. Today, we're going to go over leaks, we're going to go over rumors, we got construction updates, and everything else that a hungry Halloween Horror Nights fan could crave. So join me today as we start this journey over at Halloween Horror Nights in Orlando. And don't fret, people in Hollywood, because this information could be valuable to you too. The rumor mill has been cooking, and we're talking about all things from Terrifier coming to the event to the possibility of having 12 houses this year. And don't worry, I'm going to give my full opinion on that later in this video. So strap yourself in and let's get right to it, shall we? To start today's round of Halloween Horror Nights news, we have a post from Michael Iello, the Senior Director of Entertainment and Creative Development at Universal Orlando Resort, and one of the key minds behind Halloween Horror Nights, stating that construction has begun and that houses are starting to come together this early in the year too. And now we're going to move on over to the Halloween Horror Nights Reddit, my favorite place to source out rumors and speculation. And the first thing that I found on here that was a little interesting was a little poll where people were voting for their most wanted house of 2025. Top contenders look to be Five Nights at Freddy's, Terrifier, The Last of Us Part 2, and Scream. All of these besides Scream are highly speculated houses that could be coming this year, and I'm really excited to see any of them show up, honestly. But it looks like Terrifier's winning this poll. The next thing I saw that I found interesting was this post saying that according to HHN Insider Legacy, a WWE house featuring the Wyatt 6 is rumored to be coming to HHN Orlando and possibly Hollywood this year. As a wrestling fan, this is something that I think could be a lot of fun, but after looking around on the Reddit for a little while, I realized that a lot of people aren't exactly excited about this here. A lot of people don't seem to watch wrestling or understand what's going on here at all. But it's HHN that we're talking about. Of course, regardless of the source material, they're gonna put something together that's pretty cool for us. A lot of people just seem to be confused and don't understand what's going on with this. They don't watch wrestling, they're not wrestling fans. But many moons ago, back in the day, we actually got an Undertaker haunted house at HHN, and that was a trip to say the least. I didn't get to see it in the flesh, but I've seen videos online, and it would be cool to get to experience something like that.
This is actually a replica of the house where I grew up as a child.
And seemingly just to stoke the fires, Michael Iello has recently been posting pictures of him watching WWE. It may also be worthy of note that WWE is now owned by Netflix in some capacity, and we all know how tight Netflix and HHN are. In the comments, we have some discussions led by my favorite insider, I Know More Than You. Here he writes, "Yeah, that general rumor kind of leaked out of internals. We spent a lot of time speculating on what it could be. Didn't expect it to be this bizarre and out of the box though. But with Mike running things again, I'm down for anything he's excited to put his efforts into." Another user responds, "Truth. If he's excited about doing it, then there's a good chance it'll end up being pretty well done or at least interesting. Plus it's cool to see them take massive weird swings like this." Pinhead responds, "Yep, I enjoyed the Weekend house. Would have liked to see the Billie Eilish house, though I wasn't looking forward to the massive crowds it would have brought. He's a big wrestling fan and has connections to WWE, so it might be his pet project, which could lead to a very fun and interesting different type of house. I'm all for it, to be honest." Apparently the Fallout franchise is a contender to be coming to Horror Nights in the future, and on this post we got a little bit more interesting information out of this Pinhead guy. First he says that he's skeptical about Fallout coming to the event, but that it's still possible. But following this up is a user asking if he has any comment on the possibility of more than 10 houses coming to the event this year, to which he responds, "Yeah, that's real." Another user asks, "Are we getting more soundstage houses or tents?" And Mr. I Know More Than You says that sound stages are what he's been hearing. Always a possibility, yet undisclosed as well. The user responds, asking any idea what number we're looking at. And Pinhead says 11 to 12. I've heard both numbers. I've heard 12 more than 11, but I'm having a little trouble believing they'd increase +2 in 1 year. So my gut says 11 this year, then 12 later. Yes, we may be upping the number of houses at the event this year to 11 or maybe even 12 houses. Now that sounds insane to me. Like, I straight up cannot imagine that happening. That is a huge jump from 10 to 12, both in the amount of money that it would cost and how many people they would need to staff it. That is just crazy. But I could maybe see there being some validity to this, mainly for two reasons. One, Rip Ride Rocket's going to be closed this year during the event, and that's going to leave the crowds in the lines for the haunted houses. Rip Ride Rocket has always been a staple in HHN. You gotta go hit that thing while you're at the park. And that tradition has saved lines for years. It's crazy to me to imagine the event without it, and that's what we're going to be getting this year. So maybe the answer to that could be upping the number of houses to help the lines not be so insane in the 10 that there are. The second reason why I think there may be some validity to this is because I really trust these sources here. These leakers were pretty on point last year when it came to speculation, and I'm just inclined to believe them. A user writes, "Who are your sources? Because Legacy, one of the bigger insiders, says it's still happening." And another user, attempting to challenge the knowledge of these insiders, says Legacy isn't an insider. They report on what they hear from said insiders when info goes public. Just like every speculation page out there, insiders are employees of HHN affiliated media. Tip: a lot of HHN news gets dropped overseas first before it hits the US. That's why you see so many social media pages having European members to report the news they get over there. Pinhead responds, "Actually, insiders are those who get information from sources, and those sources are very often those who work at Universal in some capacity. Legacy is absolutely an insider. He also worked there many years ago, which is why he has a bevy of sources that give him inside information, which again makes him an insider." The user argues, "So Legacy comes out with first-hand info? I'm humoring you. They would be social media reporters to said info that is already going out to the public. They just so happen to be one of the faster social media pages out there with the info, i.e. the costume designs for Bloodlines last season came out first at an overseas media presser that was leaked by a member of a well-known digital horror magazine. Legacy had no info on that and related the info after they found out about it on social media, after the fact." Pinhead responds, "I'm saying there are those of us, including Legacy, who get first-hand info from sources in the know. Almost none of that comes from quote-unquote social media posts." The other user responds, "Agree to some info being leaked by someone in the know. The other info is just research through the internet and social media." Pinhead says, "Agree to disagree on that point. I don't get any of my info from social media posts, except for confirmation from houses from the official accounts when we already know them." Quadrupling down on things, the user states, "Yes, I know who Legacy is, and I know what he does. I'm saying if in fact him or anyone else gets leaked info by a source that isn't supposed to be leaked or reported already, the source is risking getting in trouble." And Pinhead says, "Yes, they are risking that. Absolutely correct. Which is why many of us are very cagey on what we divulge for that exact reason." Yes, these leakers or insiders are putting a lot on the line in order to try to relay this information to us. I wholeheartedly appreciate it, and I definitely see where they're coming from. If these guys weren't so consistently right, then I would just chalk all this up to BS. But there's definitely something to this. Apparently there are no rumors about Horror Nights being over at Epic this year, as that park is probably going to be flooded during the HHN event. And we're also seeing that this may be the first year in a long time that we don't have a Monsters House. I know the Universal Monsters House last year wasn't everybody's favorite, but this would be a big missed opportunity if they did dodge out on it. And I'm sure that they have the Universal Monsters in the back pocket in case anybody else bails out or plans change. If we're shooting for 12 houses and we don't have a Universal Monsters house, I'd be surprised. And the last little clue that I think I've found for us lies in this post asking about the toys on the shelf in the Fast and Furious building from the Christmas spec map released by HNN. On this post, they speculate that the house may be a remake or a sequel of another house we've had before it. But Pinhead says, "I can't yet until I know more. Too much uncertainty, and I don't want to leak anything that might still be getting negotiated. But I will say, it's 3 well-known properties that have all had sequels." User responds, "Are all of the rumors film series, or do they extend out of the film?" Pinhead answers, "These 3 are all film series." It's clear to me from this situation that this is a Horrors of Blumhouse thing going on here. Blumhouse has a ridiculous amount of sequels coming out this year. Megan 2.0 and Black Phone 2 are just a couple to name, and I'm sure that there's a lot that they could jam into this house. Alright, so that's all the HHN speculation that we have, but don't click off of the video just yet. No. There's still a lot of Universal Halloween Horror Nights related stuff to talk about. And next, we're going to be diving headfirst into the Universal's epic dark universe. Construction has been coming along beautifully over there, and the whole park is starting to look amazing. Whenever I've been to Universal over the years, I've always thought that the lands that they included were so cool, and I always thought of how insane it would be to go to one of them that was like special tailored to my special interests. And now I'm getting it. The Universal Monsters land is going to be insane. Based upon the ideas used for Universal's Halloween Horror Nights, home to the Universal classic monsters and intended as a modern-day follow-up to the classic era of films, Dark Universe is set in the dreary Darkmoor village, where Victoria Frankenstein, the great-great-granddaughter of our Dr. Frankenstein, has continued to follow in her family's footsteps of monster making. Her current experiment, intended to bring all of the legendary monsters under her control, backfires when Dracula starts a revolt, plummeting her castle into chaos and setting the stage for the state-of-the-art dark ride, Monsters Unchained, the Frankenstein experiment. When I say this ride looks state-of-the-art, I'm not glazing here. This is gonna be insane. These animatronics look unbelievable and terrifying. I can't wait to come face-to-face with them in this ride. The comparisons to Forbidden Journey are huge for me, as that's one of the coolest rides I've ever been on. Cover it in a monster skin, and I'm there, man. Elsewhere in the village is a camp of mystics that travel under the twisted metal roller coaster of the Wolfman. Here they study the Curse of the Werewolf. The Curse of the Werewolf is a launched spinning roller coaster manufactured by Mack Rides. The vehicles on the ride spin you dizzy while being launched at high speeds down the coaster's track. You will even come face to face with werewolves as you brave the path of the mystics. If you survive your journey, take a break nearby at the old windmill where the Frankenstein monster seemingly perished. It's since become a headquarters for a local group of monster hunters, and nearby is a steakhouse run by Dracula's thralls, whichever company you prefer to dine with. For the kiddos and young adults at heart, you can find the Darkmoor Monster Makeup Experience, a makeup shop that gives guests an opportunity to become their own monster. The land is coming together beautifully, and everything is really starting to take form. The lighting tests at night have shown off some really cool tricks with the Frankenstein castle. I love the electricity that dances across the top of it, and the windmill from Frankenstein has been testing its flame effects that just look amazing. These aerial shots get me so excited to finally step foot in this land. It's gonna be truly beautiful. Man, I can't wait for that park to open up. I've seen rumors that single-day ticket sales won't go on sale until I'll probably have already been to the event for Horror Nights this year, but fingers crossed. I hope I get to visit it. If not, there's always next year, you know? But moving on to Vegas. Yes, we're getting Halloween Horror Nights Vegas, and it's gonna be 365 days of the year. A year-round Halloween Horror Nights haunt is being built out in the desert. And this idea really is an interesting one. Yes, we've got exciting news over in Nevada, where a user posted some pictures of the construction going up around Universal's Horror Unleashed, the 365-day-a-year Halloween Horror Nights experience coming up in Las Vegas. The user writes, "Your latest Halloween Horror Unleashed construction update. A new structure has gone up directly in front of the main building. Not sure if it will serve as an extension of the main area. Tons of groundwork on the surrounding plot. Set to open in 2025. It appears there's still a long way to go before Horror Unleashed is ready to open to the public. But this thing is sure to be a hit. In a place like Nevada that's pretty far away from both events respectively, it's cool that people out there will get a little taste of what we got going on. I'm not one for gambling, but this makes me want to take the trip, I'll tell you. The inclusion of haunted houses, specialty food and drinks, and even the HHN icons from over in Florida really make this thing look like it's gonna feel like an HHN event. I hope that they're able to pull it off, that this thing doesn't die out. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some walkthroughs when it opens up. I know that those are gonna flood the internet and give us something to talk about. But that's all the information that I had for you today. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content just like this. And don't forget to send it to a friend you think might enjoy it too. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of all these rumors that have been circulating around the internet. What are some things that you want to see come to HHN that maybe hasn't been talked about yet? Are you a wrestling fan? Do you get this whole Wyatt 6 thing? And how excited would you be to see 12 houses come to Halloween Horror Nights? If they do the 12, I wonder if it would be more IPs or more original houses. I guess if they really wanted to, they could break down the horrors of Blumhouse into their own individual houses and stick them in these locations. That would kind of align with last week's speculation video where people were saying that they thought that Megan was going to be its own standalone house. I don't know. What do you guys think? As always, I've been Elder Sarah. Whether your day's been going good or bad today, I hope it gets better.